Hey guys, Script here with another video. And so James O'Keefe, I kind of remember him from, he used to have a thing called Project Veritas, I guess. And he does these like hidden camera things, and there's been a lot of like really negative things from, the old Twitter regime and some of those green programs. I remember he convinced, or he got funding for him and his buddies to go dig holes and then refill them in again, because it was just a big money laundering scheme that the bureaucrats got money from. So here we go. He's one of his employees went in, and it's funny because so many people that are really into Disney and Disney Star Wars and all that stuff, and even have certain political leanings, they really get angry at people like Nerdrotics or I guess The Quartering or some of these guys when they talk about what Disney's been doing and how it's not an organic thing. It's not a meritocracy. They make claims that it is totally based on your skin color, for example, which of course is you can't change that. So these are immutable traits, or your gender or whatever. These are immutable traits that you can't change, yet that seems to be what they're prioritizing. That's the claim that they're making. And then these people get super angry with them. And, well, this video appears to expose the fact that that is literally what they do. So if that's what they do, I don't think that's good. Because my whole thing is, I don't care what you are, and I say what you are because, again, these are immutable traits. I care about what you're able to do creatively, right, when you're making TV shows and this and that and the other thing. And then, of course, the residual effect of hiring people solely based on immutable traits rather than on skills that they've developed over time or natural talents that they've further developed over time is you get products that are not very appealing. And so I think when you think about sort of the downgrade in, for example, the entertainment business, a lot of these sites, and I think myself included, have come to the conclusion that they're not hiring based on what people are able to do because the quality of the work is not very good. I don't think all of it is based on race all the time either, or immutable traits. I think a lot of it has to do with nepotism, friends of friends. I think that Kathleen Kennedy has hired people solely based on the fact that they're her buddies. More often than not who happen to be female, which, again, I don't care as long as they could do a good job. But if you're just getting hired because you're somebody's friend and you're not actually qualified, you're probably not going to do a good job. So all that to be said, this is Michael Giordano, the Senior Vice President and Team Lead, 20th Television, Walt Disney Company. So I guess that would be 20th Century Fox Television, because Disney bought Fox. So here's what he says. This is crazy to me. Okay.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken.
Wait. There are times when we're just not going to hire a white male? What? That's weird.
But
how would they say it?
There's no way we're hiring a white male person. They say
like straight to you?
Yeah.
Or okay.
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents.
Now, okay, so if the context of that is Black Panther, well, yeah. So, context matters, unless he's saying just, in general they say that?
We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't, appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, we're not, that's not what's wrong. Like,
what? Wait, so So it's completely based on what they look like? So they're literally hiring black people but they have to be black enough? Oh my gosh, that's really bad. That's really, really bad. That's really bad for black people. That guy Which I don't. If he's 50-50, he's mixed, right? I don't. Again, I don't understand this whole like, if you're 1/3 black, you're black. No, you're just mixed, man. But anyway, that's an American thing. And what in the name, the white guy channels like Nerdrotics or whatever, they get attacked by fans. And that's such a societal thing where we always go after our neighbor instead of the people that are in charge. And that's happened so many times throughout history. And the guys in charge are telling this guy that the guy they want to hire wasn't black enough. And I guess probably his mom or his dad were black and his other parent was white. What the heck? That is so bad. This company's really bad, guys. They've gotten very, very evil in the last, 30 years, and it's really culminating in something that this is just really bad. It's awful. And if I was that guy, I mean that's like ultra mega racist, because like that is so skin color based. Like that's crazy to me that they do that. Wow. And you think about how connected the executives at Disney are to like other executives of other companies. Like BlackRock owns a huge portion of Disney. It's all a bunch of white guys. So what is the purpose of this? This is really, really evil. But again, guys, stop attacking people that are talking about this and start looking up and maybe vote with your wallet. Maybe stop going to Disney World. Maybe stop buying their movies. Stop, your subscription, whatever it is. Attacking guys on the internet that have no power over this because they're mentioning the fact that it seems pretty obvious they're doing this. And now we know they have been doing this. Again, look up. Stop looking in front of you. Like you're basically you're pissing in the wind, because it's not going to change anything attacking Nerdrotics. It's going to change something when you stop supporting this company. So, and any of these companies that are doing this is nuts.
They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting.
They wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way? How do you get any more superficial than that? That is the epitome of like the lowest brow base level garbage racism. like what? We didn't hire you because we think you're qualified or smart or anything. We just hired you because you're blacker than the other guy. That is really terrible. Wow.
I'm guessing that there's acceptable code words and buzzwords that are used to explain what they're looking for. They might say something like, look, we're not looking at like the usual suspects for this job.
The usual suspects. So I guess that's white guys. Like, guys, you gotta understand, man. Like, historically in this country, in America, like, white people were like 80 or something % of the population right up until like the late 80s. Like, having a bunch of white people owning businesses in a country that's mostly white people is not weird. That's very, very normal. That's just the way it was. It's changing, and there's lots of black people and Hispanic people and whoever starting businesses, and no one's saying, oh, well, they better be hiring some white people. What are you doing? Like, no one cares. So it's very strange that these sort of legacy companies are doing this. It's such a showy thing. But again, if people are falling for it and then attacking their neighbor who's mentioning it, that's the big problem. And then they get off scot-free, even though they're doing this.
For writers and actors, you hear all the time, like, I'm looking to hire writers and actors who bring diversity. I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are white.
That is so weird. Like, the fact that that's their priority.
We have a diversity, equity, and inclusion department who's very involved in like setting standards to make sure that our shows have diversity.
Do you think like Bob has a say in the diversity stuff when they're casting people? Like
100%.
Oh, that's huge. There you go. So this is coming right from Bob Iger himself. So, you know what? I take back maybe some of my stances on Kennedy now. However, how could you keep working for somebody like that? How could you keep working for somebody who says, oh, that guy's not black enough, we can't have him in there, he's only half? Like, wouldn't you just quit? And again, you're not going to get a quality product if that's what you're basing it on. Because I think that, you're just going to hire the first, as black as you want guy you can find. Like, if you want to find, like, a qualified black guy, go ahead. But it seems like they're just like, oh, yeah, the first person that looks the way we want them to look, hire them. Instead of people that are, like, really good, but also fall into that category. Which is still kind of dumb, but at least then you're bringing in some merit. Oh, wow. This is incredible.
So what?
He gives the directive. I mean,
For each show? For each...
not that specifically, but like, hey, I want every show to have substantial. I would say a relatively large percentage of our top writer creators happen to be gay.
A relatively large percentage. Well, again, so if we... This is so stupid. If we base it on percentages, right? What percentage of writers are going to be gay in America? Let's go out on a crazy limb and say it's like 7% when like 2% of people are gay. If he's saying a large percentage of that 7% of writers that are gay happen to be writers for Disney, then there's no way that could possibly be based on merit. That's totally based on just, we want to have a whole bunch of gay people. And the thing about it is, there's nothing wrong with having gay people as writers, but the problem you're going to have, and this is where some of the responses from the public to some of these shows come in, like, for example, The Acolyte, is that a gay person is not going to necessarily be able to relate writing-wise to straight people. And the vast, 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 vast majority of people are straight that are that you're trying to appeal to buy your product. Unless you want to just sink your product into the ground because there's just not enough gay people to keep your company going. There's not enough black people to keep your company going because the majority is white and Hispanic in the United States. So there just isn't enough of them. It's nothing personal against them. It's funny because, again, I tend to bring in hockey references a lot on some of my videos because I played a lot of hockey as a kid, and there's this huge push in Canada for, more people of color in hockey. And it's like, there's just not enough of them. I went to high school. It was it was probably 25% black, and then 25% other groups, and there just isn't enough of them that are interested in hockey. There's not enough of them in the population to have that many of them playing hockey. There's not that many of them, first of all, and then on top of that, they tend to play other sports. They're not that into hockey. They're just not into it. You can't force them to be. Saying that you need more of them in hockey, no. You only need the ones that want to be there and are good at it. Like, you don't need more of them. You don't need more of them in any situation. You don't need more gay people. You just need people that are qualified. It's people that are good at hockey, people that are good at writing shows for Disney. You don't need this. So this is so weird. And again, I'm not saying the gay guy can't write a story that's relatable to straight people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the odds of that are less. And so to have the large percentage of your writers having a less likelihood of appealing to your main gigantic audience is just a really stupid, weird thing to do. Like, to do that on purpose, right? This is just bizarre.
And a lot of
just by happenstance.
I mean, like, just like if you say whatever, I don't know, whatever 10 or 15% of the population is gay, I would guess that 30 to 35% of our top writers are gay. And so I think a lot of them lean into trans stories more than your average straight writer would. And
again, but you're not relating. So he's saying 10 to 15%, which is way higher than it actually is. That's based on, you bringing in high school people and all that stuff that are totally going to change. And many of them don't stay that way. But okay, sure, let's say 10 to 15%, but that still leaves 85%, 85 to 90% of your core audience isn't going to be into, like, trans stories. I'm not against those people. Whatever, live your life, I don't care. But I'm not going to lie, like, I don't want to watch stories about trans people. Like, I don't watch RuPaul. I'm just not into it. If they want to have their thing, have it. It's free country, do whatever you want, but I'm not into watching stuff like that. I'm just not. It's just the way it is. Like, and you're not going to force me to. It's a free country. I don't have to. I don't have to be into what you're into, and you don't have to be into what I'm into. Yay, freedom, right?
We have so many shows where we're casting and we're like, yeah, we're not even going to see, certain people for it because we need that particular role to,
So is it intentional that they want, like, they only look for diverse candidates for certain roles?
Yeah.
At times. Okay, so
I think there's certainly a belief that it's just good for society and they know. But there's also a belief that, like, we're going to make more money.
Okay, so ideologically, if they think it's better for society, that they're allowed to. That's what they think. But if they think it's going to make them more money, I don't know how many times this has to happen. I don't know how many times things have to go poorly for them before they realize they're not going to make more money. Like, the Disney stock has been going down pretty steadily for quite a while. Bud Light, we saw what happened with them. Because again, you're appealing to such a small amount of people, and there's not enough of them to hold up your stock. So you can say, oh, it's going to make society better, but again, you can't force straight people with families to embrace your ideology, right? You are perfectly allowed to have it. You're perfectly allowed to put it into your stories. You're perfectly allowed to push that if you want, but you can't force people to believe things that you believe. They have to make that conscious choice. If they do, they do. But the idea that you're going to convert them into your ideology and therefore make more money, I feel like that's a lot of work. That's a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of work to try and change society and try to make more money. I just don't see how they could have possibly thought that was a good idea. Especially since their job is just to entertain. But I guess they've taken on this task of trying to change society. And this is what a lot of those YouTubers, a lot of your neighbors have been saying, that there was an agenda behind this. Because they aren't making more money. They're losing money, but they keep doing it. So obviously they're trying to change the way people view certain things in society. And so again, you attacked those guys when they were right. What they've been saying for the last 10 or 15 years is 100% correct. They were trying to change society, trying to convert people into their ideology, which, again, why would you take on that task? You had a printing machine, for example, with something like Star Wars, and then you decided to try and use it to change the ideology of society into what you want it to be? Wow, why would you even bother? Let someone else do that. Like, why would you take that on? Oh, that's weird. This is dumb. These people, like, what are you thinking?
But we appeal to a wider variety of people, and it's a good thing. We have shareholders too, and so diversity helps with that.
Diversity helps with financial incentive.
Yeah.
Oh, see, he just said it, right? So certain people that have so much money it doesn't matter will help prop up Disney stock financially if they do this. That's literally what he just said. Whew. So again, guys, this proves that it's always been about an agenda. It hasn't been organic. It's about their ideology and they want it on other people. And again, a lot of people are like me, do your thing, but I'm not going to, like David Chappelle said, right? To what degree do I have to participate in what you think? I'm not going to. Like, sorry. You do you.
So is it like, do you think it's more so on that side, or using, like, any good prices get put to use? Or
regardless. I think the Disney would do it regardless. Just making sure that the writer's room has a real, diversity, not just gender or sexual orientation and ethnicity, but, making sure that they're hiring some writers who may have certain disabilities where they wouldn't have been hired. Since there's kind of
I'm waiting for him to say, and have certain beliefs, because they have to have the ideology. If they're pushing that ideology, he's admitting that they're trying to push that ideology, then you can't have diversity of thought. You can only have, like, skin color, sex, disabilities, So again, all the things that guys that have been getting attacked from certain people online have been saying for years that this is exact, and now we have proof this is exactly what they've been doing.
Really, there's a really broad look whenever we're doing that to make sure
Yeah.
that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Now I'm like a half step below a true department head. I have a team under me, but I don't oversee a whole department. And I'd like to oversee a whole department, whether that's at Disney or having to leave. So,
Okay. Do you think that you'll have the opportunity at Disney?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think I'm sort of like well prepared for it. I'm well positioned for it. But as far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male, and that's not who they're looking to promote at the moment.
Wow. It's just, but of course, white males hold all the stocks and be the billionaires, but they can't elevate this guy no matter how hard he works or what kind of job he does. Wow. So there you go. That is incredible. So that's not only hypocrisy at its finest, it's racism at its finest, it's nepotism at its finest, it's shallow. All these are immutable traits. This is sick. This is sick. And, all the horrible people on, YouTube channels, all those horrible people, they were all correct. And even if you're on the other side right now, you have to see this and say, well, yeah, that is what they've been doing. And how you can't see, like that first story about like, oh, we couldn't hire that 50% black guy, mixed guy because he wasn't black enough. If you don't see that as racism, this is pure discrimination. Wow. So anyways, this is just going to bury them more. And again, you're not going to make more money by doing this. You're appealing to not enough people. You have to appeal to the broader scope. And that's why you don't bring in, for example, if you're going to do a Star Wars show, just don't bring it in. Like a gay person can watch Star Wars and still like it without, having to say, oh, look at the gay people. You know what I mean? Like they can still enjoy it. They always have. It's not like you have to do that. Just don't talk about any of it. Just write Star Wars stories that are about Star Wars and Jedi and Sith and everything else like you used to, like George Lucas did, and stop worrying about that stuff. And he naturally had a lot of diversity in Star Wars, but he didn't get into it. He didn't make it a thing. Just write Star Wars stories that are good and stop worrying about that stuff, and then you'll make the money. But obviously, they want to push an ideology. That's their whole thing. It's not about money anymore. Crazy, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you do like this content, please like and subscribe. Or sub to the channel, and feel free to check out anything else on my channel, and have yourselves a really good day.